A kidnapped girl signaled the bikers. They didn't think twice sometimes. Kindness doesn't arrive quietly. Sometimes it roars in on two wheels, leather jackets flapping in the wind, and hearts that refuse to look away. On a long empty stretch of highway, a single cardboard sign pressed against a dusty window changed everything. 3 words, shaky letters, a silent plea. And a choice that would remind everyone watching that real kindness isn't about who you are. It's about what you do when it matters most. Before the story begins, take a quick second to support the channel. If stories like this move you, inspire you, or remind you of the good still out there, please subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. You're watching Kindness Diaries, where real-hearted stories show how small moments can change lives. The road cuts straight through miles of dry land, the kind of place where the sky feels bigger than your problems, and help feels far away. A white van rolled along at a steady pace, blending in with the quiet. From the outside, nothing seemed unusual, just another vehicle heading nowhere in particular. Inside the back seat sat a young girl, no more than 12 years old. Her hair was messy, her face pale, her eyes filled with a fear she didn't yet have words for. She had learned quickly not to cry, not to speak unless spoken to. Fear had taught her silence, but hope had taught her something else. When the van slowed for a moment, she lifted a piece of cardboard she'd hidden beneath her jacket. The sign was simple, written in thick black marker with hands that had trembled the whole time. Kidnapped. Help. She pressed it against the rear window and prayed someone would see it. Behind the van, the low rumble of motorcycles grew louder. 4 bikers rode together, spread out, but close enough to feel like family. They weren't in a rush. This was just another ride, another open road, another chance to feel free for a while. People often judge them before knowing them. Big men, tattoos, leather vests, faces that looked tough, because life had demanded toughness from them. Strangers crossed the street when they walked by. Parents pulled their kids a little closer. But kindness doesn't always look soft. One of the bikers, a man named Jack, noticed the sign first. He squinted, thinking maybe his eyes were playing tricks on him. He slowed slightly, then looked again. His heart dropped into his stomach. He raised his hand, signaling the others to slow down. "Did you see that?" he asked through the headset. The second biker, Miguel, leaned closer, eyes narrowing. "Yeah, I saw it." The third, Ray, felt his chest tighten. He didn't need a second look. He'd seen fear like that before, real fear, the kind that lives in the eyes. No one asked what they should do. They didn't debate. They didn't weigh risks. They didn't say, "That's not our problem." They just acted. Jack rode up alongside the van, keeping his distance, pretending like nothing was wrong. Through the tinted glass, the girl's eyes met his. Just for a second. It was enough. He nodded once, slow and steady, hoping she'd understand. "You're not alone," that nod said. Miguel dropped back and quietly called Highway Patrol, giving their location, direction, and what they'd seen. He kept his voice calm, because panic wouldn't help her now. Ray and the 4th biker, Thomas, rode ahead and slowed traffic, just enough to keep the van boxed in, without making it obvious. They moved like they'd practiced this 100 times, even though they hadn't. Maybe kindness has muscle memory. The van tried to change lanes. Jack matched it. The driver glanced over, irritation flashing across his face. 4 bikers. Too close, too calm. That's when the van sped up. The bikers didn't chase aggressively. They stayed visible. Present. A reminder that someone was watching. Inside the van, the girl clutched the cardboard sign to her chest. Her hands shook, but something new stirred inside her. Hope. Real hope. The kind that warms you even when you're terrified. A few miles later, flashing lights appeared in the distance. The driver cursed under his breath. The bikers slowly backed off, careful not to escalate, letting the police take over. When the van was finally pulled over, Jack stopped his bike on the shoulder. He took off his helmet and held his breath. They watched as officers opened the back door, and then they saw her. The girl stepped out slowly, wrapped in a blanket, eyes wide as she looked around. When she spotted the bikers, her face changed. Her lips trembled. Tears fell freely now, she pointed. "That's them," she said softly. "They saw me." Jack swallowed hard. Miguel wiped his face with his glove and pretended there was dust in his eye. Ray looked down at the road. overcome by a wave of emotion he hadn't expected. Later, after statements were taken, and the girl was safely reunited with her family, she walked over to them. The blanket still hung around her shoulders, but she stood taller now. "Thank you," she said. 2 words. Small, heavy. Jack knelt down, so he was at her level. "You were brave," he said. "We just listened." She smiled, a real smile, the kind that heals something in the people who see it. News of the story spread quickly. Headlines focused on the surprise. "Biker save kidnapped girl." People shared it with disbelief, then admiration. Comments poured in from strangers who admitted they'd judged men like them before. But the bikers didn't see themselves as heroes. "We just didn't look away," Miguel said in an interview. Anyone could have done that, and that was the truth. Kindness isn't about having a perfect past or a gentle appearance. It's about paying attention. About choosing to act when it's easier to keep driving. That girl grew up knowing something important. That strangers can care. That help can come from unexpected places. That even in her scariest moment, someone chose her safety over their comfort. And the bikers. They rode on, back to their lives, changed in quiet ways. A little softer around the edges. A little more aware of how powerful a simple decision can be. Because kindness doesn't always look like a smile or a warm word. Sometimes it looks like slowing down. Sometimes it looks like believing what you see. And sometimes it looks like 4 motorcycles on an open road, refusing to ignore a sign that asked for help. If this story moves you, let it move you into action. Pay attention. Trust your instincts. Be the person who stops, who notices, who chooses kindness when it counts. Because you never know who's holding up a sign, hoping someone like you will see it and decide not to look away.